Alright, this next one I wrote recently. Last year, sometime. I can't remember exactly when. I think December or January of last year. So about a year ago. Because it's the first, that's right. Um, I don't have a title for it. I was having milk one day and had an inspiration. There are a lot of metaphors in here. If you don't understand them, ask me and I can try to explain them. So, chapter 1. Here it goes. This is all I have, by the way. There on the counter, my glass of milk is sitting. It's all alone, calling to me. Drink me, drink me. I tried to reach for that glass of milk, but something always got in the way. It shouldn't be hard to grab a glass of milk, not but 3 feet from my hand. I only need to take one step forward. That one step was too hard to take. Maybe I need to go back to the beginning, before someone poured that glass of milk, before the glass was put on the counter. Maybe I need to go back before I was thirsty. My daddy always said that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Of course, it took me years to realize he was only quoting Forrest Gump. That Forrest Gump, what a man. I figured if Daddy could quote him, he must have been extraordinary. My daddy was an amazing man. See, Mama left us when I was born, so Daddy, he raised me all alone. I think he did a good job, too. I spent my summers helping him at the auto shop. That's where he worked. Taught me everything I know about engines. Hell, I know more about intake systems and catalytic converters than I do about makeup and hair care products. Maybe I'm better off that way. I'm more inclined to help others than I am about helping myself. I think that's what makes me a good person, their willingness to help others first before they help themselves. Sometimes I wonder if Mama was a good person. I used to ask Daddy why she left, but he didn't even know. A couple years back, I decided I'd try to find Mama, but that only made Daddy mad. He didn't want me to find Mama, maybe because he thought he didn't love her anymore, but I knew he did. I'd always catch him looking at her before he went to bed, looking at her picture before he went to bed. Those were the only times I ever saw Daddy sad. Excuse me. Well, eventually Daddy lost his job at the auto shop. I remember when he came home and told me we were moving. I was so angry with him. I didn't want to leave all my friends behind, everything I'd ever known, and especially Toby. Before we moved, we lived in Polk County, Tennessee, right near the border of Georgia. Beautiful places they were. I love the Cherokee history. When I was a teenager, my friends and I would go down to the Ocoee River, the greatest whitewater river ever. At least Toby and I thought so. Toby was my best friend since we were tacks and diapers. Then one day, we became lovers. Toby, he was my first and only all through high school, until the move. He used to work at the shop with me and Daddy. The move was hard on both of us. Wisconsin was a long way. I guess not as far as Maine. Daddy almost moved us there. Toby and I tried to make it work, but it was pointless. We never saw each other, and Daddy scolded me for all the long-distance calls. Toby went on to find another girlfriend, whom he married, and they now have 3 kids. Toby and I are still friends to this day, but I still miss those sweet summer nights in the back of his pickup. Making love under the stars has never been as good as it was back then. I continued school in Wisconsin, at the University of Eau Claire, to major in environmental public health. It was rough, but I made it through. I dated lots of men, but the relationships never worked. I couldn't stop thinking about Toby. No one was as good as Toby. I guess that's what happens when your best friend becomes your first love. You never forget your best friends, just like you never forget your first love. Mine came as a double whammy. I continued on to graduate school and received my master's. I don't remember the years between, but I remember graduation like it was yesterday. Daddy had a heart attack during the middle of the ceremony that day. No one knew it was happening. At least Daddy died knowing his little girl went from nothing to something. He always had a dream for me to graduate from college. I guess I did that twice. I'm sad he didn't live longer. The doctors don't know what caused a heart attack. Many have theories it was because of a broken heart. Although I don't know why they would think Daddy had a broken heart. He had never looked happier than he did that day. We had Daddy's funeral a week later. Everyone from graduation was there. People were standing because we didn't have enough seating. I decided to bury Daddy in Polk County, considering it was where he grew up. Daddy didn't leave a will. Maybe he didn't think he'd be gone so soon. After Daddy's death, I moved back to Polk County. I had thought about opening up Daddy's auto shop, but I didn't have the finances. I was trying to start. I was trying to start my career as an environmental epidemiologist, although Polk County didn't really need one of those yet. So I decided to explore my options. I know it's a completely different path than what I wanted to take, but no one was around to give me guidance, so I did what I knew best: learn. I spent the next 5 years of my life learning everything I could. It kept my mind off Daddy. Boy, I wish I could see him right now. He would be so proud. I eventually saved enough money to reopen the auto shop, and I named it after my father, Viva Ventura Auto Repair Shop. It's a little out there, but I feel it has enough ring to it. Victor Ventura was my father's name, and what a man he was. In college, they called him Victor the Valiant. He never explained to me how he got the name. Everything was going great until June 15th. People always say that life goes on. Well, my life just left me at the corner gas station with nothing but a quarter for one phone call. Sorry about the accent. It kind of came with the story because that's what the character is like. She has a southern accent like that, and I don't know how good mine was, but every time I read it in my head, that's the accent I hear, and every time I read it out loud, it just comes out. I don't, I had an idea was where I was going with this. It's so good that I just don't want to do more. I don't want to ruin it by creating crappy chapters when the beginning is so awesome. I think it's awesome. Now, nothing really happened at a gas station. That's a metaphor. Basically saying her life took a quick turn. She's stuck, stranded, and this quarter is, she has one thing that will help her. If you have a quarter for a phone call, are you going to use it for a phone call? And who would you call? Something like that. I have this one thing that I can do, but so many options that I can do with it. What am I going to do with it that's the best option for my situation? Something like that. I don't know if you understood that or not. I kind of lost myself as I was talking, and the volume's probably fluctuating. I'm sorry, I'm having issues. So that's that. Let me know what you think, because this video is already almost 8 minutes.